Good everyone. I hope you guys have an amazing day. So what I'm gonna do today, I will talk about the package settings which comes with the CPQ. My apologies, it's been a while that I've done any video on CPQ, right? The reason being I've been unwell for for a couple of weeks because I've been down with influenza. So yeah, I was not able to talk because my lungs is still healing. So in saying that, I won't be making a very long video today, so I will do short videos. Over the course of time, I'm gonna get back to making longer duration videos. Okay, so when you install CPQ, right? If you remember, I talked about in the last episode, um, CPQ you can go to the trial and install it, right? It's usually for 90 days. Pretty simple. Now CPQ, when you install CPQ comes with a few settings, which is worth to know because you tampering with those will have a profound impact the way you work with CPQ. So I thought I spent some time to explain to you guys what the settings are about. We won't be covering everything today, but I will talk about a few, right? Okay, so I logged into my org, so I hope you guys have registered for CPQ org. If you do not know how to do that, please watch my previous episode. I talked about it in detail, right? Okay, so under Quick Find, I go to um, install packages. Um, all right, so you can see that CPQ is installed, right? And it's still active. And you can see the expiration date. It's not set, which is fine for now. Okay, so I'm gonna go to configure. So we will look at a few settings. So documents, right? We got different options there. Now you must be wondering, oh wow, that's a lot of settings. Yeah, it comes with a lot of settings, but it will be good to know what its settings are. Uh, First, start with the document folder, right? The first one. So it contains a few options. So the document folders, what that means is that it lets you select the folder which contains the code document after generation. So you remember I talked about uh, I demonstrated last episode how to create a code, right? So once the code is generated, it has to go somewhere, right? So that's what you set it here. You can go into code folder. You can go under personal documents, sales for CPQ assets, steel break CPU template resource, right? So that's nothing. Attachment target. So you choose a target object, right? So say for instance, by default is opportunity. So when you choose opportunity, what happens is the code documents, right? Which they are usually saved in the chosen Salesforce document folder and in the opportunity notes and attachment related list, right? So usually when the codes get generated, right? So you chose this document folder, so it goes there. Along with that, it goes to your opportunity related list, right? Notes and attachment. Now, if you decide to choose the code, right? So you must be wondering, okay, so what will do? What that will do, right? If you select code. So when you select the code, right? The code documents, as usual, they're usually saved in the chosen Salesforce documentation. Along with that, it also goes into the codes, notes, and attachment related list. It's pretty simple, right? Now, if you select document only, so it just pretty much only stores into the document folder which you selected. It's pretty simple, right? Now, hide document name. So if you wanted to hide the file name on a code document, you can do that. So it's usually helpful when if you don't want the sales team to fiddle with the document name or change it for whatever reason, right? Um, so usually, you know, it comes with the default name, right? Now, if the sales reps, right, they say, okay, I don't want the default name, I wanted to change it. So if you tick this one, right, they will not be able to do that, right? So that's pretty simple, right? Post to feed. So now you must be wondering, right? Few of the options are ticked. Yeah, that's by default. Comes with that. But the reason why I'm talking about this setting so that you guys understand, right? If you have a business requirement where you wanted to implement the CPQ, you need to know this setting so that you can make best use of the CPQ. So, but just don't rely on the default tick options that's been given to you, right? When you install this product. Okay, now post to feed as usual, as the name indicates, pretty simple. It posts the code document to the chatter feed, which is associated with the code or opportunity attachment target. Okay, so that's pretty much about it. So full page review, if you can review preview sorry, full page preview, it previews the code document in a full window instead of a small iframe, right? That's pretty much it. As you can see that my voice is still not very clear. My apologies for that. I mean, like I said, I'm still recovering, so it will get better. I mean, if you would have heard me a couple of, like last week, I got like a hoarse voice, right? It just sounds a bit strange. And one of my coworkers said, "Hey, you sound like a very different person." I mean, even though I work from home, but still, right? When you talk in teams. So, anyways, sorry, I digress. Okay, so enable multi-language translation. This is pretty interesting, though, right? Um, so what that will do, if you tick this option, it will allows the sales rep to generate the code documentation in one of your org supported language, right? Your org might support Spanish, it might support Italian, might support Korean, whatever, right? So what that will do, this will add a locale pick list to the generated document page. Okay, so but the problem is not the problem, but there's something which you have to keep into consideration. You must also have translator values stored for the language that they can select. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Okay, now uh, there's something called mass document username. Now you must be wondering, oh, this is a click, uh, request authorization. Okay, um, so what does that mean, right? If you click that button, it will allow Salesforce CPQ to generate and send code documents on your behalf when you're not logged into the Salesforce. So if you want that functionality, then go for it. I mean, this setting appears only upon the first installation. Okay, so if you select this one, this option goes away. So when you select it, you're just telling the Salesforce CPQ, hey, generate the code and you know send document on my behalf, and I'm not logged in. So if that's your business requirement, go and select it. If you tick it, then you can't roll back. Probably you might have to call the support. I'm not 100% sure. So then we have the group package settings, right? This is not too much in the sense, right? You don't see much options there. I mean, you need to understand solution groups. I'll talk about solution group in the coming episode, but just remember, for the sake of um, understanding at this stage, that if you enable this option, right, it will allow admins to create solution group for the sales rep uh, to use in the code line editor. Yeah, like if you see in the code, right? So we have a code and we have the header, then we have lines, right, where you add different stuff to it. So the solution group, the functionality of solution group in nutshell, right? It will let you group and subtotal products independently of other code line item and the code line groups. So so if your company has a standard set of code line group, like say solar panel hardware, or say solar panel software, or you can say solar panel different stuff. If you have a separate lines of grouping, then this will be handy. I'll talk about it, right, when I get to this stage. Just for now, just don't worry about it. Just understand one thing. You tick this option, you will allow admin to create the solution group for your rep. Okay, so that it can be used in the code line editor. Simple, right? Okay, now require group name. Okay, this is by default ticked. So what happens is, right, when this option is ticked, sales reps are required to. So when you tick this, it will allow the sales rep to edit group names in the code line editor. So require group names. So yeah, so sales reps are required to edit group names in the code line editor. So that's then we have line editor package settings. It's a lot of them. I understand that. So let's see. We talk about the plugins, right? I'm gonna talk about line editor is a bit complicated, so I don't want to go too deep into it. Just gonna talk about a few things, right? Which is gonna be commonly used. Electronic signature plugin, for instance, this one. So what that will do is, right, It lets you integrate Salesforce CPQ with electronic e-signature provider, like for instance Conga Sign. If you wanted to, integrate your CPQ with, Conga Sign, you can do that. Then you have, something called product search plugin. So if it lets you modify and add to specification. I can't pronounce the word. Uh, Specificity to product filter searches, and it will pretty much help you with the search stuff. So I haven't used this functionality so much, so I can't really get into the detail. But I've used electronic signature a lot. Then I've used the code calculator plugin that I've used in. So you can extend the functionality of the Salesforce CPQ calculator. So you can use it here. So I've used that one, but product search plugin not really. So I can, but this is a functionality there. So um, yeah, and then the order management plugin is there, so which is another important stuff. Then we have this, so order management plugin. It lets you customize, sales how your sales for CPQ calculate normally the order start date. So if you wanted to work on your order start date, so this is the plugin to go for it. So that's the order management plugin. Then we have document store plugin, which is another plugin which is, I believe, very important. I've seen often integration with that plugin a lot in CPQ based on my experience working in a CPQ implementation before. So it lets you integrate your CPQ with document management providers, right? So whichever you choose. So that's then we have pricing and calculation, which is another one. I will touch a little bit on pricing and calculation. So now the first one is a currency symbol, right? Now you must be wondering what the heck is a currency symbol. So so CPQ, right, uses this currency symbol in the code line editor on the generated document, right? Like a dollar sign or whatever, right? So that's pretty much it. And then you have something called unit price scale, which is very important, right? Because this is really important. So this is a fractional unit price round off to many decimal places, right? So there's two here. So that's you can change it if you wanted to change it. Then you have something called, by default, the legacy calculator. So this enabled the Salesforce CPQ legacy calculator. But you have to understand one thing: Salesforce CPQ no longer offer support for this version of the calculator, so it's better to untick. Yeah. So now you must be wondering, oh, this is too much, right? I understand we haven't touched in detail about pricing, about discounting model, calculation. We're gonna get there, but just wanted to understand that we have these settings in place, so it will make you use CPQ in a much informed way, right? Then we have very important thing, enable quick calculate. So this is this boy here. So when you tick this option, right, it actually so I'll tell you one thing. What does this do, right? In simple terms. So this functionality, right, this specific functionality, it actually improves your code calculation time. And how does that do that? So it's pretty simple. It disables three function features. One is the price rule, it code line formula field that depends upon the parent relationship, and displaying roll-up summary fields in the code line editor. So if you wanted to use this, there's three things will be disabled: price rules, code line formula fields, displaying roll-up summary field in the code line editor. So this is how it improves um, the calculation time, right? So now you must be wondering, oh, there's um, different things. So I mean, for now, this is all I think you should pay attention to it. I know the subscriptions and renewal. So if you go and buy, like it's like in a magazine, right? You buy for a 12 months subscription, so it get auto renewed after 12 months. So yeah, so different options comes into place. So this is a little bit more. to talk about it. So I'm not going to talk about today because unfortunately I'm already getting tired. So I will stop it right here now. And in the next episode, hopefully tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I will cover the remaining part of it, right? Sounds good, I hope. So yeah, I mean, from an exam point of view, this is important. So one thing I always tell, right, when I teach people certification, my main goal is not to, teach you guys just to clear the certification, but to enjoy the journey, understand the product very well, and become a better consultant or an architect, right? That's all my intention is all about, right? So that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing Wednesday. Anyway.